third of these programs in the series Snooker Taylor Made, which we're filming here in Northern Ireland. So far we've learnt a great deal about snooker, but we're going to learn more from the master. Here he is, once again, Dennis Taylor. So Dennis, what's it all about this week?
Right, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go again, and we're getting a little bit more serious now, because now we're up to the follow-through, the screw-back, and the stun shot.
Oh, let's get at it.
And these are all shots that really you can't make breaks if you can't perfect these shots, so an awful lot of practice has to go into these three particular aspects of the game. Okay. And before we go into this, if I can just go back to the, we talked in the first program about the tip. Johnny, if we can just go back to this is where it's essential to have a very nice tip on your cue when you start playing screw shots and stun shots. And once again, we go back to the old dome that we put on the tip, as you can see here. My cue's got, in fact, your own tip's got a nice dome on it there.
Made it myself. Make yourself a dome. Oh my God.
So now we're going to go into the screw shots, stun shots, and follow-through shots. I think we'll use the blue for this, I think,
again. Okay, I've got a blue here.
We take a look at the cue ball here, the white ball. To play the follow-through shot, you've got to strike the white ball right on the top here, and that creates the follow-through, the forward spin. And then to play the screw-back shot, you're right down to the bottom of the ball, hitting it near enough the extreme bottom. That creates the backspin, which makes you screw back. And then the stun shot, you're hitting the cue ball smack in the middle. And a good way to give you an indication of this, if you imagine that cue ball as a clock, the face of a clock, you're looking at it. So if the follow-through shot, really it's 12 o'clock looking at the face of the clock. The screw back shot is down at 6 o'clock, and the stun shot is right smack in the center of the clock. Now you could even move over to 3 o'clock, which would be playing with right hand side, and 9 o'clock left hand side. So now we're going to go into, just see if we can pop the blue and play the various shots that we just mentioned. So we'll strike the cue ball right on the top at 12 o'clock, push the cue through in a straight line. Now that gives you the follow-through shot.
5 away.
Thank you, Jimmy. And then to get the screw-back shot, I'll borrow that wide as well. We're now down to 6 o'clock, but at the same time you've got to concentrate on your cue action, because playing the screw-back, you've got to follow through as well, and we'll be going into that a little bit later. But you're striking the cue ball now at 6 o'clock to screw back. Nice follow through, and the white comes nicely back into the pocket.
Foul stroke, 5 away.
And finally the stun shot. There we are, striking the cue ball right in the center, and we just play a nice little forcing shot, and the white remains on the blue spot. I think, Johnny, we should let you have a go at this, because you've been picking up quite a few tips as we've gone along.
Very much. Because I need this for break building, don't I, to get the white in the right position.
Well, if you can't control the white ball, then you're in big trouble, and those are the three most important aspects.
Excuse me, back.
So first of all, the follow-through. So you've got to strike it, imagine you're striking it at 12 o'clock, but you must push the cue through straight after it.
Well, I got the follow, but it wasn't
Well, you've
straight.
got the follow-through, but once again, you've got to concentrate on pushing the cue through in a straight line. Let's see how you go on with the screw-back shot.
Oh, well, at that I'm probably much worse than the other one. But we'll have a go.
Now, you've got to strike the white this time at 6 o'clock, but don't snatch at the cue, otherwise you won't get the white to come back. No, that looks a bit good.
Come on! Done it!
Absolutely. Now, the next one is probably easier than the follow-through and the screw-back, so I think you should manage this first time. So what you want to do is pop the blue, hit the white in the center.
Just pop it at camera.
Hit the white right in the center, and it's a stun shot. So you want to hit this fairly hard, and the white should stop right on the blue spot. Well, that's near enough. That's a perfect stun shot there. Now, if you've got problems, because you get some players, they can't make the white go through, and they can't make it come back. So if you wanted to score 6 at billiards, the way around that would be, if you can't screw it back and follow through, you could do it like this. That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Gee, right, well, I think you've got a volunteer for me, have you?
We have indeed. We've got a volunteer called Paul Harris. I'm not sure where he's sitting, Paul. Oh, he's over there. Paul, do you want to come over and have a go?
Let's give Paul a nice round of applause.
I'm sure you're better than me, Paul. I'll field out over here.
First of all, Paul, if you can imagine you're striking the white ball at 12 o'clock, and just have a go and see if you can pot the both balls. So you've got to strike it right at 12 o'clock. Now you see you got the perfect follow through there, so that was very good. Well done.
The thing is, when I'm playing and I'm trying not to do it, I can't do anything else but follow throughs.
Well, the thing was, you see, Paul had the smooth cue action, and the white just kept on running in the straight line, so that was very good. Now, just set it up for yourself, Paul, and see if you can get the screw back shot. So you're striking the white this time at 6 o'clock. And once again, he's hit that absolutely. And Paul will be carrying on with the rest of the series. And
instead of me or instead of you?
Instead of me. And this final one is the stun shot. And the way he's played the last two, I can't see him having any problem with this. So it's hitting the white right in the middle and stopping the white on the blue spot. Well, he's very right at the front. Well, Paul certainly made that look very easy. And now we're going to go into a little routine that you can practice, because you know, you don't know how far you're going to follow through, how far you're going to screw back. So we're going to line, Johnny's just lining up the colours here. And all this is really is to help you to practice. So say you're playing a little follow-through shot, and this is to help with your positional side of the game. So say you were going to follow through, pot the blue, follow through, and try and get the white to stop parallel with the brown here. So if you just have a go at that, Paul, just to see how close you do get to it.
He's gone white. He's gone white.
Well, this is it's getting quite complicated now, but at least it's a good way of practicing it. You can see how you're getting on with your sort of positional side of it. So it's just a nice little run through to hopefully stop the white.
Oh,
well, that's
not bad,
pretty good there.
That's not bad.
Well, now it becomes a little bit more difficult, because this time, just see if you can follow through and get in line with the green here. Just take your time, get the... you just underhit that a little bit, but he's not too far away. And now the difficult one is screwing back and judging the screw back. So we'll just see if we can get you to screw back. Say screw back for the red. Try and get in line with the red this time. Well, he's not too far away there again. And just finally screw back to... You're virtually screwing it back to where the white is now. That's pretty good there as well. The thing with these shots, follow through, screw back, you can't really tell anyone how to do it or how to hit the ball. It's all in the feel of the shot, and all it is practice. And obviously Paul's played quite a bit, and I'm going to be looking out for him in a few more years' time. But thanks very much for helping us out, Paul. I think he deserves a nice big round of applause. We'll just go on to another little exercise that I think you'll find very, very useful when you're learning to screw back. We don't need the blue, Johnny, this time. We'll just go with the white and the red. And how you'll be able to improve your screw back shots, we'll set off with a shot like this, say. In fact, you can help me out with this, Johnny, and have a few goes at it. But if you place the cue ball on the baulk line and the object ball just about 6 inches away from it, so the idea is to try and just screw back over the balk line. So it doesn't matter how you hit it, that's just to give you a yardstick to go on. So gradually you would move the red a little bit further away, and now we're about 12 inches away. So once again, you've got to get all the basics back to the bridge hand, the cue action, chin on the cue, striking the ball at 6 o'clock, screwing back over the balk line. So you'll find that this is a very useful little exercise. Now we're getting up towards the middle of the table. The further the object ball goes away from you, much more difficult it becomes to screw the ball back, because you've got to get so much more power into it, and the timing is a bit like a golf shot. You've got to get the timing absolutely right. So I'll have another go here. Still bringing it back. And finally, if you just go up and I'll tell you what, try it at the pink spot, because this is...
Okay.
Now, anything could happen here. So we'll have a go. This is when you get up to this stage, you're talking about you're going to be in the top amateur ranks, because this is an awful lot of power required to get into this shot. You've got to strike the white, and you mustn't be frightened of jumping the ball, because that's when you run into problems. So we'll have a go. I don't expect to get this, but...
Oh, beautiful. That's lovely.
I think, Johnny, we should let you have a go at this.
So you want me to try the...
Just try the screw back, just to see how you... Because I want to watch what you do with the backhand here. Now, that's pretty good there. You've struck that very nicely. Now we're going to make it a little bit more difficult for you.
Chalk, quick!
Because psychologically, the further the ball goes away, the more difficult the shot is, and the old brain doesn't work the same.
You need quite a bit of follow-through with the cue.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people, I thought you might have done that, a lot of people, when they're playing a screw-back shot, they hit the ball and stop they feel they have to pull the cue back, and all they do is stun it and stab at it, and the white stops dead. You've got to follow through to create the backspin. Get right down into the bottom of the ball. And that's... You see, you were frightened of miscuing now,
that's
so
right,
you can get right in. In fact, if we have... Do we have a pool ball? That would...
We have some in here.
It'll give a little more indication of what happens, because just watching the white, you can't really see the white spinning or forward spinning or back spinning. So we might be able to just help things a little bit here. So really, I'm going to try and pot the red in the top pocket, but that's not the most important thing, is to watch what happens to the cue ball. So we'll strike it right down at 6 o'clock. Play the screw back shot first. And there you can see the backspin rotating.
The red screw back as well.
Well, it saves me going around and having to pick the red out of the pocket again, you think. So we'll get the object ball a little bit closer. This time we're playing it with maximum follow through. So we're hitting it at 12 o'clock. And you should see the cue ball spinning forward.
Yeah. There's a heck of a spin, and then it catches the nap, and slows down.
The last way, Johnny, this is probably a shot that you're getting up to top amateur level or professional levels when you play this. It's called a drag shot. If you were to put the red over the pocket, well, yeah, just a little bit closer, round about there. So you wanted to pot the red and just come out for the black. Now, there's so many different tables that vary with the nap, and maybe they're not quite level. Very rarely you get a table absolutely spot on. So rather than just roll the white towards the red, you would play what's called a drag shot. So you're hitting the white right on the bottom again, and what should happen, if you watch it carefully, the white, or the pool ball, will get backspin on it to start off with, and then when it gets to around the blue spot, it'll start spinning forward then. And this is something you'd never see with the white. Which makes it quite interesting. Now, probably another little interesting point here would be if we get the blue back on the spot again.
One blue.
We were talking about cloths, and the naps of cloths and different speeds of cloths. Now, we were talking earlier, we're not going to go into too much detail about side here, but if you can imagine, you're snookered on the red by the blue. Now, the nap of the cloth always goes from the baulk end up the table. So if I was to try and just get out of this snooker, normally it would probably play a swerve shot, but we'll just see if we can play it just with putting lots of right-hand side on the ball, just to see if it'll take it round the blue. And now you can see we've hit the red, got out of the snooker, but we didn't swerve the shot, we just played it with side and it curled around the blue. But
that was all on the nap, was it?
Well, the nap of the cloth helped to take it that way, but a very strange thing that a lot of people won't know, if we just put the red over the other corner pocket and play it in the opposite direction, just right over the pocket will do. Now your half ball snookered there. Now you'd think to get round the blue you'd have to play this with right hand side. In fact, it's the opposite. Because you're going against the nap, you play it with the opposite side. So I'm hitting it on the extreme left-hand side to make the ball go to the right. And there you can see, just at the last minute, it's starting to come back again, even though I've hit it with the opposite side. So that... Well, that's... I think we've got a few... Have you got a few questions?
I think we have. Where is it? Oh, up at the back there. Yes.
You often hear commentators, including Dennis, talk about stun run. Could we see that done with a pool ball to see how it takes effect?
You're talking about a stun run-through shot?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's quite a complicated shot, but we'll try and just... we'll go back to the blue here and try and play it with the blue. And what happens there, really, is say you had the yellow positioned here, and you didn't want to just roll the blue in, you wanted to stun the shot in. You can hit this quite hard, and really the cue ball's only going through about 6 or 7 inches again. So we'll see if we can play a stun run through for you. So you're hitting the white in the middle again, only this time the ball's stopping and then running on through, so it leaves you on your position. But that's a very, very difficult shot. You know, you're getting into sort of, as I said, top amateur status then. Have we got any other questions we'd like? We'll attempt to answer anything for you. Anything to do with the game at all.
I've got a question. Wrong question. Is when they say touching ball, play away, what's the reason for all that?
Well, a touching ball really, and it happens mostly on the reds. You can see someone playing a safety shot and they land into the reds. The referee has a look and he says, touching ball. So the ball's touching. If you were to play the shot like this and move the ball that is touching, it's got to be a push shot, because the tip of the cue ball and the object ball are all in contact together. Yeah. So the reason is it's a foul shot if you move that ball, so you've got to play away from it. If you're sitting here, it doesn't mean you've got to play away that way. You can play away from the ball in any direction as long as that ball doesn't move. It's a complicated little thing because...
So we could take the line there, couldn't we, and say from there you could play anywhere this side of the line? Anywhere
at all, even across the table, as long as you don't move, as long as you don't move that ball. But there's another interesting point about that, Johnny, is say you've come down and you're touching the yellow here, and the referee says touching ball, and the blue's on the spot, and you want to have a go at potting the blue. If you were to get down, because you don't have to nominate your colour all the time, if you were to get down and just pot the blue in the top pocket, the referee would say, foul shot. And the reason for that is, although you haven't hit the yellow, and you've potted the blue, you're deemed to be touching the yellow, so really you're hitting the yellow as well.
I see.
So in that sort of situation, you've got to nominate your colour. So if you wanted to pot the blue, you'd have to nominate the blue. Or if you were just playing away from it, then you'd have to nominate the yellow. Yeah. It's quite an interesting little one, then.
And there's one over here. Yes.
I'd like to know how you had a ball sitting over the corner pocket and you were dead straight on the ball and you were trying to get position. How do you stop from going in after the red?
Well, that goes back. In fact, we didn't show that, but that's very interesting. I think we can go into the corner pocket here. We'll still use the use the pool ball. Well, say you put the pink over the pocket. You're left with a situation like this. So the pink's absolutely in a straight line with the pocket. Now there's a few ways to avoid following through. A lot of people think because it's straight, you've got to hit the pink right in the center. Even if it's slightly out from the pocket, you can still hit that pink half ball, and it will just go in off the angle. But if you're really faced with a situation where you couldn't hit it half ball, it's absolutely straight on, you'd have to go to that deep screw shop. So you'd be back again, say you wanted to come out, or say that was, say for example, the black. I don't know whether we've got the black handy. Is it black? Bring the black down this side, John. Say the black was sitting here, and you needed pink and black to win. So then you would go for the very deep screw shop. So you'd strike that cue ball right down in the bottom again. Concentrate on the follow through. And I haven't touched the cushion, I've just made the ball screw back again. But that's very complicated. The easy way, just for the ordinary club player, if the ball's sitting over the pocket and you don't want to follow it through, don't be afraid to hit it on the, hit it half ball. We talked about the half ball, Terry. Just hit it half ball, and there's no way you can pot it, you say. No, that was a quarter ball. Now you can hit it half ball and it'll still go in the pocket. So.
Okay then, Dennis, before we go, give us a trick shot.
Yeah, we might as well finish off with something a little bit different. May have seen this one on the television before, but I always enjoy playing this. This one, in fact, is all about cue action and timing as well. So we've got the 4 cues here. And we're going to go for all the coloured balls. We go for the yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, black. And we get a white as well. As I say, this one's all about cue action and timing. And what we've got to do here is send all the coloured balls running around the angles. They should start interweaving in the middle of the table and eventually all finish up in the top pocket or on the floor. Hurry up, please. Quick, quick, quick. Yay!
To practice that one.
Surprised myself. Really, it is practice, really, and it's not really the way you set them up, but you've got to just get the timing and the cue action all together.
But we're learning that every day, and if you're looking in for our next program, we'll be showing you how to put side on the ball. Is that right?
We're going into side and positional play, which it's going to be very interesting.
Break building.